has a pretty big corn problem. And the further down the rabbit hole you go, the more disgusting it gets. And YouTube is doing nothing about it. You see, when I was scripting this video, I had no clue what I was getting myself into. I knew that I was going to see some stuff that I probably didn't want to see. I was going into the weird part of YouTube. And my whole idea for this video was to just call out the creators who are blatantly posting corn to a site where the majority of viewers are not of age to see that kind of content. I was going to call out everybody by name, but this video is a bit different. Here is the reasons why. You see, I don't want to get sued. I don't want to give publicity to the degenerates that are publishing this stuff. I don't want my channel to get taken down. And this topic goes into some boundaries that are borderline illegal. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the video. When I was younger, I watched a lot of YouTube. And I mean a lot of YouTube. I was a big fan of prank channels. I was a big fan of Roman Outwood, Vitaly, FouseyTube, and a channel that's now banned, where they simply just picked up women. If you catch my drift there. And that channel kind of stuck with me. It was these two dudes, and they would go around doing pickup artist stuff. And in one of their videos, they brought a certain adult toy to Venice Beach, and they had women use it in public. And I'm not going to sit here in front with you. As a 14-year-old boy watching that content, I felt like I found a cheat code, bro. I was still under the impression that because I was under the age of 18, I legally could not watch adult content. Thank God I thought that, because of how much adult content just pollutes a young man's mind. But I thought that I found a loophole. I was like, oh my gosh, I found it. This is how I'm going to watch this kind of content without anybody knowing. I'll just go on YouTube. That's still like a active thought for a lot of people. Those people aren't old enough to think critically. They think that is a good loophole. That is the problem that I am addressing in this video. But now that I'm older, I have a sneaky suspicion that these pickup artists, or these creators who are making lewd or adult-esque content on YouTube, missed. I have a suspicion that they don't know about the floodgates that they opened up. Here's what I found. You see, in YouTube, the whole game is just who can one-up the other person. Who can see who's done it best, and then who can do it better. And that mindset of making profitable and well-performing content doesn't just stop at YouTube. The same thing translates over to the adult content world pretty easily. It's kind of the same thing. And as a viewer of content, it's a tale as old as time. You watch a certain piece of content, and normal content gets kind of boring. It just gets a little bit boring, so you start venturing more into weird videos. You start venturing more into things that grab your attention. The same goes for the other kind of content, though. You see, when normal content becomes boring, you have to stimulate yourself somehow. You have to watch something that no longer is boring. So you start going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole until you just develop some... I don't know, wait. So you just start going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole until you start watching super odd, niche-esque content on YouTube that nobody else is watching because the content creator is weird or something. Or you just keep going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole until you get your fill, you feel sick of what you saw, and then you vow to yourself that you'll never watch any weird content again. You'll just go back to the normal side of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And that whole idea of not getting your fill from normal content and then having to dredge through the Mariana Trench of just despicable stuff translated over to YouTube. And it didn't translate overnight. Like, even though like the people who did the Sibian video on the beach, they were just trying to break out of traditional YouTube. They were trying to do something with so much shock value that it will get clicks. And it got clicks, but it also spawned in a huge gray area in YouTube. And after the floodgates opened and those two individuals realized that making lewd content on YouTube and marketing it towards people who don't usually get exposed to lewd content gets a lot of views. And it makes a lot of money. Everybody else kind of jumped on that bandwagon. Because creators now had proof. They had proof that the content that they are making gets views. They had proof because everybody was making money, selling their souls, making this lewd content. And this spawned in a huge wave of creators posting lewd content. And then that whole gray area of content formed, and it kept getting more gray and black, and it started getting dark. It started getting to the point where it is almost indistinguishable from the content that you can find on YouTube versus the content that you can find on the hub. It got pretty similar. Like, you have videos of women doing completely normal stuff, like reading a book or cooking or, I don't know, doing any sort of activities, while something obviously is going on right outside of frame. Where women can barely get through a book because, I don't know, they're having like a lapse of judgment. They're losing their breath over reading this book. Their legs are like moving all around. Like, why is that happening? What's going on? Or you just have like men on YouTube doing challenge videos that is borderline pornography. The "what is in my butt" challenge is a video on YouTube. Why is that allowed? What is going on here? Or you just have creators doing hauls or try-on videos where the clothing that they're trying on is so far away from the public's consensus of what clothing is that the video isn't even about trying on clothing. You know exactly what it's about. And by the way, all of these examples, YouTube has no real way of judging who is making the content. YouTube has no real way of seeing who is trying on the micro bikini, or who is doing the "what's in my butt" challenge, or who is filming this stuff. That's a big can of worms I'm not going to get into on the video. I'm going to let your mind wander with that one. But it's a real fucking issue. And the biggest issue is that people are posting this kind of content knowing exactly the type of people who are watching this content. That's sick. And I think creators are posting this type of content with negligence, without taking into account the impressionable people who are clicking on their video, without taking into account who the majority of viewers are on YouTube. And that begs the question, why would you post that kind of content on YouTube? Why wouldn't you post it on OnlyFans? Why wouldn't you post it on the Hub? Why wouldn't you post it on the plethora of platforms that are made for that sort of content? Why would you post it on YouTube? Is my question. Why would YouTube allow that kind of content? You see, to make a YouTube account, all you need is a Gmail. And to make a Gmail, all you need is a brain and a hand and a computer. And you can really put whatever you want. Your Gmail tag can be, "I'm 45 and I like pancakes." And then you can set your birthday to October 31st, 1990. You could do whatever you want. You could be whoever you want with a Gmail. You see where I'm getting at? Oh, and by the way, just a fun fact. YouTube is one of the most accessed platforms by minors
on the entire internet. So keep that in mind while we critique the people who make this content and YouTube as a whole. They know who's viewing the videos. So why are they posting it? It just boggles my mind that creators post that kind of content when they know damn well who's watching it. I think that it's disgusting. I think that it's vile, and I think that it's unsettling. And this isn't just some issue that some dude on YouTube is bringing to light. I think that this is very much a child safety issue. And I don't think YouTube is doing their part in stopping that child safety issue. That begs the question, why? Okay, let's make this really simple. YouTube is a business. YouTube essentially hires creators to create stuff for their platform. Those creators get views. Advertisers advertise on their videos. YouTube takes 30% of the money that's gained from ad revenue and splits it 30-70 with the creator. These lewd content creators are getting a lot of views. They're getting so many views. They're getting more views now than they ever did due to the loneliness epidemic that is conquering the world. Due to people being too socially awkward to go talk to people in public. Due to who knows what it is. Who knows what sad stuff is going on that... I don't even know where I'm going with that. I don't want to blame the viewers of this. I want to push the blame onto the creators and YouTube. But to simply put it, YouTube gets paid more the more the creator makes. The more views the creator gets, the more YouTube gets paid. And if these creators are getting millions of views due to the big loneliness epidemic that we're living in right now, why would YouTube ever stop? Why would YouTube limit their revenue if these videos are getting millions of views? Why is that? And I know what you're thinking next. Maybe you're thinking this, maybe you're not. I know what I'm thinking next. Is why do small content creators get absolutely blasted by the big bads at YouTube for swearing in their video, for making a joke about somebody, for being a little bit edgy? Why do they get demonetized and be seen as non-advertiser friendly? But people posting borderline porn get off scot-free. Why is YouTube cracking down on AI bullshit? Which good on them, but there's a bigger issue, obviously. But why are they cracking down on AI stuff? Why are they cracking down on people scamming children for, I don't know, putting their finger in that alligator thing with the tax on it? Those guys are getting banned. There's just a big sweep of it, that all of them got banned. Why are those guys getting banned, but these creators have been up for years? These people have been making videos for years, but they've been labeling it as ASMR or reading or challenge videos or try-on hauls or whatever. Is that really a loophole that got through? Is there really no loophole to stop that? It's strange to me. Because you see, when you post a video on YouTube, an AI, a clanker, a bolt bucket, whatever you want to call it, sifts through your video. It knows everything that you said in your video. It analyzes every frame in your video. It checks on your thumbnail, and then it pushes it out to whoever it deems worthy to see your video. And then afterwards, it determines if your video is advertiser friendly or not. No human is involved in this. It is just a robot. But yet, it seems, in my opinion, that the robot or YouTube is turning a blind eye to the direct, inappropriate content that these people are posting. And the reason, again, in my opinion, to simply put it, is money. And as a creator, this makes me upset. It makes me upset that YouTube allowed such an obvious loophole to occur. Because, let's not be stupid here, sex sells. It always has sold. It's no secret. I'm a firm believer that if you're a higher up at like $1 billion company that focuses its whole business around entertainment, I'm pretty sure that you know the age-old saying that sex sells. And I'm sure that you also have to be aware that the large majority of your customers, of your viewers, are children. And protecting those children should be your main priority. Profit should not be your main priority. Protecting the people who view the stuff and get you paid should be your number one priority. I don't think that's such a hot take. And that's just so frustrating to me because one of my recent videos got demonetized because I ended it with the song, "This is the story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world. And while she looks..." You know the song. I don't want to get demonetized again. But that video got demonetized. I couldn't get paid off that video. But you're telling me a full-grown woman who can't read Lord of the Rings without moaning is safe for advertisers, while my video that featured 4 seconds of a song is not safe for advertisers? I'm confused.
Oh God, it's so good. So good.
Well, the obvious answer would be for me to do like some big call to action at the end of the video to tell everybody that this is wrong for these reasons. Children are in danger. There's that YouTube is not the platform to post lewd content. YouTube needs to put a stop to it. Creators and viewers are powerless to creators without morals or whatever. But what would that do? What would me telling you these things resolve? I have 2,000, give or take 2,000 subscribers at the time of filming this video. And my voice is only as loud as YouTube lets it be. I can only reach whatever number of people YouTube deems I'm worthy for. I also have a very sneaky suspicion that YouTube may not want to promote this video. I am directly calling out a huge flaw in their business model. I am calling out a child safety issue. That's not good. I'm also calling out how YouTube may or may not be making an absolute fortune off the backs of creators that are either too stupid to realize who is watching their content, or they simply don't care. That is, again, a huge problem. And I guess that may just be the world that we live in.
This is a big issue. If you see something, say something. Later.